Indie Mogul.
It was pure shock and awe at the box office this weekend as G.I. Joe took the #1 spot, despite extremely low expectations from, well, everyone. Just how high up did Joe go? Let's find out with some movie math. Some people describe director-producer Steven Sommers as a hack and some as a popcorn flick auteur, but there's no question that the man is consistent as G.I. Joe opened in the #1 spot with $56 million. That's right in line with the openings for all 3 Mummy movies and Van Helsing. So in the weeks ahead, the real question will be if G.I. Joe will be sent on another mission or retired on a high note like Hugh Jackman's Monster Slayer. But regardless, the success of G.I. Joe is cause for celebration all around. It's the biggest box office debut of Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans' careers, and the second biggest opening of Dennis Quaid's career. Not like those actors that set the bar particularly high, but hey, good for them. And Paramount has got to be on cloud 9 as this gives them their 3rd big hit of the summer after Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen and Star Trek. Look for Paramount to mine Hasbro's toy line for future hits. Battleship the movie, anyone? Although, despite all this celebrating, it's the audience who's less than thrilled. I asked you to rate the movie on a 1 to 10 and you gave it a 6.5, 1 point lower than the 7.5 audiences gave it on Friday's episode of Beyond the Trailer. And now for the 1-sentence review challenge results. Here's the top 5, and all summer long, #1 will be getting a free pair of AMC movie tickets. 5th place goes to Soul Rooper 876, who says, G.I. Joe is an adrenaline shot disguised as a balanced meal. 4th place, Blake99 Xbox Live adds, yeah, the movie was really cheesy, but come on, it had ninjas. How can you not love ninjas? Seriously. But in 3rd place, Regards Give Way enjoyed the movie, reminding us that looking past the trailers is half the battle. Runner-up Bradley Smith 1996 laments, I ran to see this about as fast as those accelerator suits, and the film was unfortunately not that fast. And the winner of the 2 free movie tickets is the Dorian Gray Show, who sums it up best with, G.I. Joe is like the kid who stole the answers from other students. He might still get an A, but it doesn't deserve our respect. And coming in at #2 is Julia&Julia. Deflating like a ruined souffle, Meryl Streep's latest opus opened with $20 million, whereas her 2 previous box office hits had opened at $27 million. Unfortunately, this debut puts Julia&Julia in league with Efron's last clunker, Bewitched. That film went on to make just $63 million. It'll take strong word of mouth and perhaps an Oscar nomination for Streep, which would bolster DVD performance, to make this film a win for Sony. As for Amy Adams, despite her Oscar nominations, she's still searching for a starring vehicle to serve as her big follow-up to Enchanted. So far, at least box office-wise, she has not been living happily ever after. 3rd place goes to G-Force, which fell 44% in its 3rd weekend. Bringing in another $9.8 million, those little guinea pigs have nestled away $86 million so far. Looks like their little legs might carry them past the $100 million mark after all. Elsewhere in the box office, A Perfect Getaway opened at #7 with just $5.7 million. That's Mila Jovovich's worst opening for a wide release in almost 10 years. Way to crap up someone's career, David Twohy. And speaking of crapping up someone's career, looks like Judd Apatow has accidentally given his old roommate a black eye. Funny People plummeted 65% in its 2nd weekend to #5, giving it a total of just $40 million. With numbers like that, there's no way Funny People will make it past $100 million, which will end Sandler's impressive 4-year streak. In fact, the only time Sandler's movies don't make it past $100 million is when he tries to, well, act. You might not like your comedies, Sandler, but the rest of us do. I saw a movie this weekend and I'll tell you all about it after the break.
You drank all my root beer! Have you lost your mind? Oh yeah? Suck on this! Oh.
I was so excited for Julia&Julia that I rushed out to see it Saturday night before G.I. Joe, and unfortunately I was a little disappointed. I would liken Julia&Julia as a movie experience to one that I find often happens with dessert. It looks great sitting there in the display case, the first bite is heaven, but then when you're finished you kind of wish you'd passed on the whole thing because it wasn't that great. Sure, Meryl Streep was channeling Julia Child, but I gotta tell you, it got old real quick. And I don't think she deserves an Oscar nomination for the role because it was more of a great gimmick than a fully realized part. I mean, if Streep gets an Oscar for this, then Daryl Hammond should get an Emmy for his work on Saturday Night Live. And while I was excited that this was a movie about women that didn't focus on their trying to land a guy, I was disappointed to see how deeply dependent both characters were on their husbands. Also, and this is a slight spoiler, I didn't quite understand why Julia Child was so negative about Julie Powell's blog. After all, didn't Julia Child write her cookbook for the typical American housewife, which in 2002 was Julie Powell? I think she'd be happy that after all these years, she was still inspiring American women to cook French cuisine. But Paris, circa the 1950s, looked absolutely amazing, and the film did have its moments, so I'd say it makes for a good rental. I'm seeing G.I. Joe tonight and will post my review on my Facebook page. As always, thanks for watching Movie Math, and I'll see you on Friday when Beyond the Trailer covers District 9, The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, and The Time Traveler's Wife. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some Movie Math.
Subscribe, comment, rate it.